Hey friends, it's Jen. Thanks for tuning in. If you're catching this part of the video, you are in the replay. So if you could just drop a comment below, let me know that you were here. How about dropping me like a plate of food emoji or something about food, okay? Maybe your favorite food or your most dangerous food, whatever. Drop it below so that I know that you're here, and make sure you hit that little arrow down there for me so I can reach more people. Facebook algorithms really prevents a lot of things from being spread around, so the more involvement you have on my posts, the more people get to see them. So I wanted to talk a little bit about emotional eating today, which I talk about often, okay? And I know I talk about it often, but it's huge in my life, okay? I'm an emotional eater. I've been morbidly obese the majority of my life, and it's what I know, and it's what I deal with, and it's what I talk about. So I spent a lot of time working on emotional eating and exploring my emotions and why I eat the way I do, and why I spent the majority of my adult life morbidly obese, and even part of my adolescence in morbid obesity. And in doing that, I found that the root cause of most of my eating problems was anxiety. And so I talk about anxiety and emotional eating, specifically with anxiety, because that's what I know, and that's what I've spent most of my past 2 years working on. So with that being said, like, I have good control of my anxiety right now, which has helped me gain control of my eating, which has helped play a huge part in me being successful in weight loss. And recently, the past, I would say, yes, you definitely can eat out of boredom. The past few days, I definitely noticed that I have an increased urge to eat. And I try to, on a routine basis, eat on schedule. Eating on schedule helps me identify head hunger. It helps keep me on track. And I feel like the past few days, maybe the past few weeks, I feel like I've had an increased urge to eat, and I have an increased urge to eat specific things, which is a huge red flag for emotional eating. If you crave a certain food, that's a good sign it's an emotional hunger. So being though I spent so much time in therapy, I'm very self-aware, and I'm very easily able to identify bad patterns and behaviors that could potentially lead me down a wrong path. So I've been thinking, the first thing I do when I notice that my eating patterns are a little bit off, and I don't mean off by one day, because we all have a bad day here and there. We're not perfect all the time, and that's okay. But when I notice an ongoing trend where I'm starting to crave or eat things on a routine basis, that are not in my normal, the first thing I always do is I look to see where I'm at in my menstrual cycle, because hormones can play a huge part in emotional eating. So, and for me, they definitely do. I definitely have increased cravings, and I definitely have an increased desire to eat about a week and a half before my period starts. So when I notice a disruption in my desire to eat pattern, okay, the first thing I do is look to see when I'm due for my period. And a lot of times I can look at my calendar and say, oh, well, that explains it, okay? And that's usually not the first day, like I said, because one day of that is normal. We all have that. But when I'm on like day 3 of that, it's time to be like, whoa, okay, this isn't good. Let me check. So the first thing I do is check to see where I'm at with that cycle. Now, in this case, like right now, these past few weeks, or a few days, I'm not sure how long, but I went through these steps and I'm not due. So what I'm experiencing is not hormonal, okay? So I really am starting to like dig here, because I know that anxiety is my root and what causes me to eat, but I'm not anxious. Like I have nothing going on right now that fits into my anxiety symptoms. I'm not obsessively worrying about anything. I am not making up scenarios like I have done for 30 years. I have none of those factors. I'm not stressed in any environment. I'm not stressed at work. I'm not stressed at home. I'm actually feeling like I'm living my best life. I'm happier than ever. So why do I have this increased head hunger? Why do I have this increased need to emotionally eat? So as I've been analyzing that for the past couple days, because if I had a therapy appointment, it'd be great, but I don't have a therapy appointment, and so I'm using the tools that I've learned, and I'm going through and I'm analyzing my emotions and what's going on in my life. And I've come to realization today that I think the emotion that is causing me to sort of go outside the lines and ping pong around with emotional eating is excitement. I've taken on a lot of new things, and I'm sure you noticed that. I have this Lime Life business that I joined back in April, which is, I joined it for one reason, but now I see all this amazing opportunity and empowerment with it, and so I'm really excited about that. So I'm just excited about that. I just want to think about that all the time. So my brain's turning. I'm doing some things. I'm trying to get a meetup started in my South Central PA bariatric group, because I would love to have like a round table with people who are, sorry, I'm thinking I'm losing my internet a little bit, so I'm gonna move my phone closer to the house. I would just turn off my Wi-Fi, but I don't know if that would disrupt. Let me try it really quick. Tell me if that gets better. So I didn't lose you, so that's a good sign. So I'm trying to orchestrate that, because I think, sometimes I have so many great connections via Facebook with fabulous women who are going through the same type of journey that I am, and it's great to have these friendships and talk to them. But sometimes it's just a little bit more real if you can put a face to it. So I'm trying to organize that. I have a lot of things that I'm working on at home. Me and my husband are working on to prepare for, potentially moving one day and redoing the house. And I have a lot of things going on that aren't stressful at this point, and they're not causing me anxieties where I'm worrying, but it's causing, I think, an excited anxiousness. Okay, like I have all of these thoughts and all of these feelings of excitement and happiness to do all of these things that maybe I couldn't do before I had confidence. Maybe I couldn't do before I lost weight. Maybe I couldn't do before I developed different leadership skills that I'm learning through this new business I'm in. So all of these things together, I think, they're taking me outside of my normal. They're taking me outside of my comfort zone. They're taking me out of my daily regimen of wake up, you get ready for work, you go to work, you do your job well, you go to lunch, you come back, you work, you get off work, you run the kids wherever, you go to the grocery store, you make dinner, you go work out, you watch TV, you go to bed. Well, my routine's different now, because I have all these other focuses where I'm trying to grow myself, my husband, my family, my kids. I have a lot of stuff coming up that's changing. My son's in his senior year. He's going to trade school for his senior year, the Career and Technology Center. He's driving to school every day. That's new. He's getting ready to turn 18. He's going to be an adult on paper. Just lots of things. My daughter's a tween. She's 11, so she's entering the stage of thinking she knows it all. Okay, not that she hasn't thought that for a long time, but we're entering that stage of life. So a lot of things are changing around me, and they're all good things. And I think that is what's causing me to have this increased urge to eat or crave food, because I'm losing control a little bit of the things that I've always controlled well, the things that were always normal for me, the things that I could count on being the same every day are all now changing. And even though they're changing for good things, it's still me establishing a new normal, me establishing a new sense of control of the things I can control and what I can't control. That's all new. So you can be in a very, very good place. You can be very, very happy. You can be in control of your anxiety. You can be in control, if you have depression, you can be in control of your depression. You can be in control of all of the bad emotions that could have caused you to eat in the past, and still revert back to that, because you have a lot of good things going on. Because change often stimulates that need. When things are changing, whether good or bad, you're losing a little bit of control. Okay, you're losing control of what you thought was normal, what you knew every day, what was comforting to you. So when that's disrupted, whether good or bad, there's one thing that you can always go back to. And I'm speaking for myself, so everybody else could be different, but there's one thing I can always go back to, and that's food. When I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to think, or I am sort of lost on what's going on, food's there. Now fortunately for me, I have a tool, and my tool stops me from going too far, but that tool doesn't stop me from eating every hour. That tool doesn't stop me from eating every food that I crave. So that's where the 2 years of therapy and the 2 years of learning how to identify and work on bad behaviors and triggers comes in handy. So I know if I wouldn't have done therapy, if I wouldn't have went through that process, right now I'd just be eating and like, I'm just happy and I'm just going to eat what I want to eat because I'm happy and who cares, my life is good, right? But instead I'm like, this is not what I work for, okay? And even though I'm not giving in all the time, I'm not to a point where I'm gaining weight back and I'm not there, but that's how you get there. You get there by not identifying and working on disruptive patterns, bad behaviors, and triggers when they present, So I just wanted to share that with you because I think we often associate emotional eating with negative emotions: sad, angry, stressed, bored. But it doesn't have to be. You can have emotional triggers that trigger you to eat or want to eat from good things, from excitement, from new things, from happy things. You can be the happiest and most in control you've ever been in your life and have a desire to eat. And because of that, I think it's important to learn to recognize that in yourself so that you can stop it before it goes to a point where you have to then retrace and work to go back. We don't want to rework. We don't want to re-lose. We don't want to regain. Okay, like you want to stay where you're at, and one of the ways to do that is identifying your triggers, identifying how and why you eat, and when and why you eat, and know that yesterday I didn't even think about this. Like this just came to me today. It literally came to me on my 2-minute commute from the office home for lunch. And I'm like, I gotta talk about it and get it out now, because a lot of times when I talk like this to you, I'm talking to myself. And that's how this started, a year and a half ago. I started talking to myself via video because it's very therapeutic for me, and it's very good for me to go back and watch when I need a message. So like I said, this came to me on my 2-minute commute, and I thought I'd share it with you because I think it's important. I think it's huge to know that, and I feel in control now. Like, okay, I just need to continue to work on a plan to normalize what I got going on. We're taking this to the next level. That's what life is about. It's about breaking down comfort zones. It's about leaving comfort zones. It's about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's the only way you're going to grow. That's the only way you're going to get to where you've never been. That's the only way you're going to obtain what you've never had, is by growing and moving out of your comfort zone. So I think it's really important for me and huge for me to see and identify that the emotion that I've been looking for to figure out why I'm eating is not a bad emotion, because that's what I was looking for the past week. What is the bad emotion? I don't feel it, so what is it? And guess what? It's not there. It's a good emotion. So it's just learning to manage that and making sure I continue to work on controlling that. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. If you could just hit that little arrow down there for me and spread the love on your wall, I would appreciate it. I'd really try to get my message out there as much as I can, whether it obtains to mental health, whether it's about weight loss, whether it's about exercise, whether it's about emotional eating, whatever it is, makeup, whatever. I like to be out there. I like to spread the information that I know and the opinions that I have, because you never know who's going to help. But due to the algorithms, it's a little hard to get that out there these days. So with your help, by your interacting, commenting, liking, and sharing, it helps spread that. So thanks for tuning in. Trisha, yes, me too, girl, me too. But guess what? There is definitely ability to control. I promise you. Like, I would have never thought that 2 years ago, but I'm telling you, it's there. So thanks for tuning in. If you were just tuning in, make sure you go back and watch from the beginning. If you watch in the replay, just let me know that you were here in the replay, and go ahead, share, like, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.